Hello everybody, this is David. Welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the idea of man as a moral being and the nation. And I am quoting from a speech that was made by one of our greatest prime ministers, and I'll tell you who that was afterwards. Let's continue. So the concept of the nation is at the heart of Old Testament Judaism, and one which those who wrote the New Testament accepted too. But there is an even more fundamental idea which is also common to both, the idea of personal moral responsibility. It is to individuals that the Ten Commandments are addressed. In the same way, the New Testament is preoccupied with the individual, with his need for forgiveness, and for the divine strength which comes to those who sincerely accept it. Of course, we can deduce from the teaching of the Bible principles of public as well as private morality. But in the last resort, all these principles refer back to the individual in his relationships with others. We must always beware of thinking that somehow we can get rid of our own moral duties by handing them over to the community, that somehow we can get rid of our own guilt by talking about national guilt or social guilt. We are called upon to repent of our own sins, not each other's sins. So each person is all important in the Christian view of life and the universe. But human beings have social needs as well. So it is that in the course of history, the family, the neighbourhood, and the nation came into being. All these communities have certain things in common. However they began, they are held together by mutual dependence, by the experience which their members have in common, by common customs and belief. They all need rules to enable them to live together harmoniously, and the rules must be backed by some kind of authority, however gently and subtly exercised. The nation is but an enlarged family because of its traditions and the mutual love and loyalty which bind its members together. It should ideally need little enforcement to maintain its life. But alas, because of man's imperfection, evil is ever present, and the innocent must be protected from its ravages. So the first, and in a sense the most important point I have to make to you is this: we must never think of individual freedom and the social good as being opposed to each other. We must never think that where personal liberty is strong, society will be weak and impoverished, or that where the nation is strong, the individual will necessarily be in shackles. The wealth of nations, the defence of national freedom, and the well-being of society, all these depend on the faith and exertions of men and women. It's an old and simple truth, but it is sometimes forgotten in political debate. But what of the common beliefs and habits which hold this British nation of ours together? There was, of course, a time when the Christian religion was the only permitted form of worship in our land. Today, we live in what is called a plural society, one in which many different forms of belief exist alongside each other and also alongside other more recent things, such as those of total disbelief, atheism, or even nihilism. We don't doubt that we have absorbed much from other systems of belief and contributed much to them. The change, however, has brought its dilemmas, not least for the legislators. we now have to concern ourselves not only with how Christians should behave towards each other within the framework of the nation, but how we should seek to organize the nation's life in a way that is fair and tolerant towards those who do not accept the Christian message. What I am suggesting to you today, however, is that even though there are considerable religious minorities in Britain, most people would accept that we have a national way of life and that it is founded on biblical principles. This was a speech made by Margaret Thatcher on the 4th of March 1981 at St. Lawrence Jewry Church in London. She had a lot of good things to say there, and there's so much that we could think about, and so much change has happened, not least the falling away in public life from belief in the Judeo-Christian principles and ethics as laid out in the Bible and as in the history of our nation. We have fallen so far. May God have mercy upon us, and may we get back to the Judeo-Christian principles in our nation. Once again, we need God to raise up men and women that'll lead us back. So I want to thank you for joining me in this video. See you on the next one. Bye bye.